Esther's life was about to change forever. Taken into the king's palace, she faced a choice: remain silent and protect herself, or step forward and risk everything for her people. But what Esther didn't know was that God had placed her there for a purpose, and soon her courage would be tested like never before. That evening, Haman came to Esther's second banquet. The king again asked Esther what she wanted. This time, Esther spoke. She told the king that her life and the lives of her people were in danger. She pleaded for their survival. The king was shocked. "Who would dare do such a thing?" he asked. Esther pointed toward Haman. She revealed the truth. Haman was the enemy. The king became furious. He left the banquet room. Haman realized that his situation was desperate. He begged Esther for mercy. When the king returned, he saw Haman near Esther and became even more angry. Then one of the servants mentioned the structure Haman had prepared for Mordecai. The king ordered that Haman be executed on the very structure he had prepared for Mordecai. The wicked plan had turned back upon its creator. But there was still a problem. Haman was dead, but the original royal decree remained. The Jewish people were still in danger. Esther went before the king again. The king gave her authority to issue another decree. A new order was sent throughout the empire. The Jewish people were permitted to defend themselves against those who attacked them. Messengers carried the new decree across the kingdom. Hope replaced despair. People who had once been afraid now had reason to rejoice. Mordecai was given a position of great honor. The Jewish people were protected, and the day that had been intended for their destruction became a day of victory. The Jewish people celebrated their deliverance. They remembered the days when they had been in danger and how the situation had been completely reversed. Families gathered together. They shared food. They gave gifts. They helped those in need. And they celebrated. This celebration became known as Purim. The story of Esther became a story passed from generation to generation. Parents would tell their children about the orphan girl who became queen. They would tell them about Mordecai. They would tell them about Haman's pride. But most importantly, they would tell them about courage. Because Esther could have remained silent. She could have protected herself. She could have said, "Someone else will do something." Instead, she stepped forward. Esther's story is more than the story of a queen. It is the story of a person who discovered that her position had a purpose. Esther did not know what the future held when she entered the palace. She did not know she would one day stand before the king and risk her life. She did not know Haman would create a plan to destroy her people. She did not know that Mordecai's forgotten good deed would become important. She simply lived one day at a time, and then came the moment when she had to choose. Her story reminds us that sometimes our greatest purpose is found in moments we did not expect. You may not understand why you are where you are. You may not understand why certain doors opened. You may not understand why certain difficulties have come into your life. But Esther's story reminds us that our circumstances can have a purpose greater than we can see. Esther was not the strongest person in the kingdom. She was not the most powerful. She did not command an army. She did not write the laws. She was simply one woman, but she was willing to stand. And sometimes one person who is willing to stand can make an enormous difference. Think about Esther standing outside the king's court. She knew the law. She knew the danger. She knew she could die, yet she walked forward. That is courage. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is choosing what is right even when fear is present. Esther could have asked, "What if the king refuses me?" Instead, she acted. She could have asked, "What if Haman discovers what I am doing?" Instead, she acted. She could have asked, "What if I lose everything?" Instead, she acted. And because she acted, an entire people found hope. Her story encourages us to consider our own moments of decision. Maybe someone needs us to speak up. Maybe someone needs encouragement. Maybe we need to stand for what is right. Maybe we have been placed in a particular job, family, community, or position for a reason. We may not know exactly why, but we can choose courage. Esther's story also teaches us about Haman. Haman had almost everything a person could want. He had authority, he had wealth, he had recognition, he had influence, but his pride made him miserable. He could not enjoy all that he had because one man refused to honor him. His desire for power became hatred. His hatred became a plan. His plan nearly destroyed an entire people. Haman's story is a warning. Success without humility can become dangerous. Power without wisdom can become destructive. And pride can blind a person to the consequences of their choices. In the end, Haman's own plan became the instrument of his downfall. Mordecai also teaches an important lesson. He did what was right when he discovered the plot against the king. He did not receive an immediate reward. His good deed was simply recorded. Days passed. Perhaps it looked as though no one remembered, but the king eventually read the record. At exactly the right moment, Mordecai's faithfulness was remembered. This teaches us something powerful. Doing what is right is valuable even when nobody applauds us. Sometimes people may never say thank you. Sometimes our work may go unnoticed. Sometimes we may wonder whether our efforts matter. But a good deed does not become meaningless simply because nobody celebrates it. Mordecai's story reminds us to remain faithful. Queen Esther began her story as an orphan. She ended it as a courageous queen who helped save her people. She entered the palace without knowing what the future held. She faced danger without knowing whether she would survive. She stepped forward when remaining silent would have been easier, and she became a symbol of courage for generations. Her story continues to remind people that ordinary individuals can be used for extraordinary purposes. You do not have to be the most powerful person in the room. You do not have to have all the answers. You do not have to know exactly how everything will turn out. Sometimes you simply need to take the next courageous step. The message of Esther is powerful. Never underestimate the purpose of where God has placed you. Do not let fear make your decisions, and do not stay silent when courage is required. When the moment comes to stand for what is right, remember Esther, and remember that perhaps you are exactly where you are for such a time as this. Thank you for listening to the story of Esther, Queen of Persia. Join us again next Saturday and Sunday at 9 p.m. on Holy Nest 07, Biblical Testimony, for another true and inspiring biblical story. Until then, may God bless you and keep you.